Good evening, I'm Alex Dierckman. A new report shows several southern Indiana counties are in dire need of more primary care doctors. As WTIU's Gretchen Frazee reports, Owen and Brown counties have some of the worst doctor-to-patient ratios in the state.
A new report from County Health Rankings, a project of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, shows Owen, Greene, and Brown counties all have high patient-to-primary care physician ratios. The report shows Brown County has only 3 primary care doctors for more than 15,000 residents. But one of those doctors recently retired, and the local health clinic has cut back on the number of patients it sees. Dr. Maureen Garcia says that has put additional pressure on his practice.
We stay busy every day, and there's still a shortage. There's on the weekends, especially patients are still having to go to the ER a lot.
Those emergency rooms are in Bloomington or Columbus hospitals, both about 30 minutes away. And IU Health's Chief Operating Officer for Southern Indiana physician Sandy DeWeese says that can make getting medical care particularly difficult for rural residents.
I do think that having a shortage of primary care physicians in rural areas makes it more difficult for elderly folks who may have transportation issues. I think the access issues become more important.
And while there are programs in place to increase the number of doctors in rural areas, the problem only seems to be getting worse. DeWeese says there are 1,000 primary care physicians that need to be filled in Indiana. That number is expected to double by 2020. For WTIU News, I'm Gretchen Frazee.
And IU officials are skipping around the idea that their tuition freeze is in the shadow of Purdue University's recent tuition announcement. IU says the freeze is meant to control student debt, but in comparison to a plan Purdue University President Mitch Daniels unveiled this month, it is not nearly as inclusive. Purdue's plan freezes tuition for all students. IU's freeze only applies to those who are on track to graduate in 4 years. IU CFO and Treasurer Mary Frances McCourt says the university will not be influenced by what others are doing.
We're not looking at Purdue and saying, what are they doing and what should we do? We have spent a lot of time investing in some of these, and we've gotten really national accolades on our attention to the student.
Students will be notified of their eligibility after the summer session ends. And here's a look at the weather. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows in the upper 20s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, highs in the lower 50s. And tomorrow night, mostly cloudy with a 60% chance of snow, lows in the lower 30s. And Sunday, breezy with a 90% chance of rain and snow, highs in the lower 30s and lows in the upper 20s. Monday, mostly cloudy with a 60% chance of snow. And for more on these stories and other local news, go to indianapublicmedia.org.